Brexton Busch was just a few laps away from another victory. He led the first 11 laps and looked completely in control. Then traffic changed everything. For the first half of the race, everything was going exactly according to plan. But once Brexton reached lap traffic, the race quickly began to slip away. A victory that looked almost certain turned into a frustrating fourth-place finish. At the same time, his second race of the night told a completely different story. He fought hard, stayed inside the top two, earned another podium finish, and showed the pace was there all night. So what really happened in Tulsa? How did a race-winning car end up finishing fourth? And why did Brexton admit afterward that the biggest thing holding him back isn't speed at all? Stay with us until the end, because every race from this weekend tells an important part of the story. Brexton Busch arrived at Port City Raceway in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with plenty of confidence. Throughout the season, he's shown that he has the talent to run at the front. And this weekend looked like another opportunity to add another trophy to his growing collection. Instead of racing just once, Brexton had two chances to compete, one in the A-Class main and another in the restricted class. Both races showed impressive speed, but they also highlighted why closing out races can sometimes be even harder than getting into the lead. The first race of the night was the A-Class main, and from the moment the green flag dropped, Brexton looked like the driver everyone else would have to beat. He immediately settled into the lead and controlled the pace with confidence. Lap after lap, nobody could seriously challenge him. For the opening 11 laps, Brexton looked calm, smooth, and completely in command of the race. Everything suggested that another victory was only a matter of time. But dirt racing can change in an instant. Once Brexton caught the slower cars at the back of the field, the race became much more complicated. Lap traffic is one of the biggest challenges in sprint car racing, because every decision has to be made in a split second. Drivers must choose whether to go high, low, or wait for the right opening, all while protecting the lead from the cars behind them. That's exactly where the race turned. While working through traffic, Brexton couldn't find the most effective racing line. Instead of extending his advantage, the gap behind him started to disappear. The drivers chasing him suddenly had opportunities they hadn't seen earlier in the race. Before long, the lead was gone. What had looked like a comfortable race became a battle just to stay inside the top positions. By the time the checkered flag waved, Brexton crossed the finish line in fourth place. On paper, a fourth-place finish is still respectable. Many young drivers would gladly accept that result. But when you've already led the first 11 laps, fourth doesn't feel like a success. It feels like a missed opportunity. The positive takeaway was simple. Brexton had the speed to win. There was no contact, no mechanical problem, and nothing wrong with the car. The race slipped away because of how lap traffic unfolded, showing just how important split-second decisions can be when you're trying to protect the lead. Instead of letting that disappointment define his night, Brexton climbed back into the car for the restricted class feature. This race presented a completely different challenge. Rather than starting from the front, Brexton rolled off from second position. Right away, he stayed close to the race leader, or the opening laps. He kept the pressure on and looked ready to make a move whenever an opportunity appeared. The battle at the front remained competitive, and Brexton never allowed the leader to relax. However, as the race continued, the leader managed to maintain a slightly stronger pace. Brexton continued pushing until the very end, but despite staying within striking distance, he couldn't find the extra speed needed to complete the pass. When the race ended, he finished in second place. Although it wasn't the win he wanted, it was still another podium finish, and another reminder that he's consistently putting himself in position to compete for victories. Looking at both races together paints a much clearer picture of the weekend. After the races, Brexton summed up his thoughts with an honest assessment of his own performance. He said, "We're super close. I just have to learn how to close out these races." That quote probably says more than any finishing position ever could. It wasn't an excuse. Instead, Brexton recognized exactly where he believes he still needs to improve. Learning how to finish races is something every young driver experiences. Getting into the lead requires speed. Staying there requires patience, experience, race management, and making the correct decisions every lap, especially once traffic starts changing the race around you. Those lessons can't simply be taught in a classroom. They're earned through weekends exactly like this one. Even though Brexton left the opening night without a victory, there were still plenty of positives. Leading 11 laps against a competitive field shows the pace is real. Finishing second in another feature proves the consistency is also there. Many young drivers struggle just to reach the front. Brexton is already showing he belongs there. Now the challenge becomes turning those opportunities into victories more often. Before ending his race update, Brexton made it clear that he wasn't dwelling on what happened. Instead, his attention immediately shifted to the next opportunity. He wrote, "Now on Tulsa time at Port City for the final night." That message showed exactly the mindset racers need. And now the focus was entirely on the final night at Port City Raceway on July 26. Sometimes the biggest response after disappointment isn't words. It's showing up the next night ready to race again. That's exactly what Brexton planned to do. For fans following his progress, this weekend may actually be remembered for more than the finishing positions. It revealed another stage in his development as a young driver. Winning races isn't only about being the fastest car on the track, it's also about managing traffic, protecting track position, adapting as conditions change, and making the right choices under pressure. Those are the experiences that shape future winners. Brexton already has the speed. Now he's working on mastering everything that comes after taking the lead. And if his own words are any indication, he knows exactly where the next step lies. If you're enjoying our NASCAR coverage and want more updates on drivers like Brexton Busch, make sure to subscribe to NASCAR Nation News and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. Do you think Brexton Busch was simply unlucky in lap traffic? Or do you agree with his own assessment that learning to finish races is the final piece of the puzzle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching NASCAR Nation News, and we'll see you in the next one.